My name's Tim Ruise. I am an enrolled member of the Kuya Band of Indians, descendant of Colorado River Indian tribes, Fort Mojave, and the Ipaye Nation of Santa Isabel, and also direct descendant of the Payam people, the Luiseño people of California. I got into this work for men and boys because in our communities it's not talked about. I feel that if I had this type of support when I was growing up and going through the abuse that I was going through, I would have come forward and reported. And not having those safe spaces or those conversations in the community or within my family, even, having to hold those secrets for a long time until I got into my 30s. And being able to understand what that abuse was and what I actually went through, acceptance, and just my portion of living and just being there for my people, because seeing how many men and boys especially, how much they have to hold on to that suffering for a long time. I know elders in their 80s that are still holding on to stuff that they went through as teenagers, especially two-spirit folks that are up there in age that at that time weren't able to be who they were or who they are. Just getting into this work and, being around all of you and seeing what you guys have started and that platform, raising that platform, gave me that opportunity to come out more and be, helpful in our communities. There's not a lot of voices out there that are helping Native men or boys with these issues, especially domestic violence. The underreporting that goes in with the DV situations. A lot of things that go into sexual assault are very underreported, or even talked about. Like I said before, things like this, they get swept under the rug, and those people have to deal with it on their own. Sometimes and sometimes it's a lifetime. By us being here and doing this work, we're breaking those cycles and starting to have that work visible to the communities, and raising that awareness for men and boys. When it comes to working with men and boys, it's important because there's no support out there for them. One of the organizations that I work for, we have shelters in place for DV situations, sexual assault. There aren't many houses out there, shelters that will accept people, especially males, that are victims, to those issues. So by being visible and putting this out there, there could be that potential of having those safe spaces for men and boys to be able to go to without being judged, because of their sex. A lot of things that I see in the work, because I do work for a women's sexual assault coalition, I see a lot of, female clients. In our society, in our communities, it's accepted for a woman to come for help, to ask for help. But for men to come forward to ask for help or to even admit any type of fault or failure is looked upon as shameful. And that's a thing that needs to be broken in our communities, so that the men can come forward and be who they are, to be able to ask for help without being judged. There's so many organizations out there across the nation that assist women and their children. There are hardly any out there that will assist males, whether they're a teenage boy or an adult male. But again, that goes back to our society and our people teaching the colonized way of being a man in their eyes. You have to be the macho, you have to do this, you have to do that. you know to me, being a man is someone that's providing for everyone, not just his family but his community. And that was example led by my grandfather, who did a lot for not just his tribe but for every tribe in San Diego. Pretty much, he's one of the reasons why they have fire departments on the tribes now, because of his work. So he wasn't just for his Ipe people, he was for everybody in his community. And that was an example that was taught, in our family. But again, like I said, it took me till I was in my 30s to open up, wake up, see what actually happened. That was a big step for me in the last 8 years of being in this work, acceptance, moving forward, and just keeping in that right direction. Healing is something that everyone needs to work on, and that looks different in many ways. My healing to me is, sometimes I like writing, I journal. Other times I live near 50 minutes from the ocean and at the foot of Palomar Mountain. And so I'll go cleanse in the ocean, and then I go to the mountain and watch the stars come out for that transition. So I let go and then I gain is my healing. And that's helped a lot. And then having these conversations at the dinner table, at grandma's house, with the aunts and uncles, um, talking about different things. And yeah, sometimes they'll tease about, different things, but then we'll tease about it, but we learn something out of it. That's vital to have that within your family, to have those conversations. Sometimes I wish you had that magic wand to every family had that there was a violence free world, but this is what we live in, and we try to make that better for our communities. So that's why I'm here, um and I'm thankful for that.